And my journey, it in the beginning it really started through yoga. I grew up in Nebraska in a very traditional, very reserved kind of culture. And when I took yoga and started learning about some Eastern philosophies and just being present, connecting with my breath, that breath body mind connection, it opened me up and I wanted more. I am a learner. So I am by trade a CPA. So I have that very logical, analytical mind. And that was something yoga helped me do is be in the breath, be in the moment instead of like that twirling, twirling, twirling. And it's been a journey, it's been a process. I remember I took yoga teacher training in 2012. One of the things we were supposed to do is meditate every day and journal about it. I did get my certificate, but I can tell you, I did not meditate every day. I was in the throes of corporate accounting, working all the time. And so when I sat down to meditate, all I experienced was just, I was like, I don't know how to do this. So it was many years later. I ended up moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, and and there were lots of synchronicities along the way. It's fun to look back and see how all of the dots connect and oh, well, this got me to there and this got me to there and following synchronicities. I met some people actually in Italy on a trip that I went to that were from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I ended up moving there. And and in Charlotte, I had lots of synchronicities. And along the way, and this is fun because a lot of things, I sometimes you kind of forget, and all these things are coming to me. So the woman that owned the tour company that I went on, she owns this company named Nada's Italy. Amazing, amazing travel company. But she is Italian, but she lived in Charlotte at the time. And she is the one that originally got me started on The Secret, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, but she didn't tell me about it yet then. And then later, I was introduced to Abraham Hicks, actually by a tarot card reader. And again, once I heard Abraham Hicks, I just kept listening and listening. I could not get enough to the point where in 2018, I had decided through a landmark program, if you started creating, if you could do anything for no reason at all, you don't have to have a reason or even think about how you would do it. Just what would you do? So my creation became I would quit my job, I would sell my house, and I would just travel for a while. And now looking back, I see how powerful that was because we had discussion groups and we talked about what we would do for no reason at all. And I was creating that because the universe is always listening. So, what you're talking about with intention, there was no resistance because I wasn't trying to figure out how is this going to happen. I was just saying that's what I would do. And so in 2018, I did end up doing that. I was at a corporate accounting job and I gave them plenty of notice and I was like, I'm done. The moment I gave my notice, I was so happy. People were like, what are you on? I want what you have. And I dedicated that time to really doing a deep dive into these things that were resonating with me. I did a Vipassana retreat. So all of these things, I dove in because I had the time and I was committing the time. This beautiful sabbatical that I created for myself of really the deep dive into things. And looking back also, there's been such a progression in that time. I was still very in the analytical mind of, I've got this time. I need to use this time. I've got to learn all these things. And I was still in a figuring it out mode. And I got into hypnosis. I learned different modalities of things. And the more and more I got into these things, the more passionate I became about it. And so I decided this is really what I want to do. I started doing it with other friends, like, hey, I learned this really cool thing. Can I try it out on you? And of course they're all like, yeah, let's do it. And so that just became more and more, and working with clients one-on-one and just keep adding other modalities to that. And that's part of the thing. I was just starting to say with Bashar, he talks about permission slips. And a permission slip really is anything that comes to you, shows up in your reality, and it resonates with you. And you may not even know why. Why am I doing this? Thinking of the reason. Well, it doesn't even really matter. It's about following that passion. If it lights you up, if your intuition is saying yes, if there's a resonance, follow it. Follow it for no reason. Follow it without attachment to, oh, I can only do this if I'm getting a specific outcome. No, follow it because it may be the thing that leads you to something else. Or it may just be help you get clarity about something else. Or it may just be something that's really fun. Doing it for the fun of it, doing it for the passion of it. And that's really what it's about. And living life in that way, following your passion, following those permission slips as they come up. That's really about being in the flow and following that ease and flow. And we talk about that a lot in my mastermind group. And we tune to certain things, like we tune a lot to ease and flow and picturing yourself on that river of flow. And I've recently been experiencing this. I've had some ups and downs and even a cold lately. And today I woke up feeling so much energy in my body. We had a tuning this morning, a tuning call with my mastermind group. We do this in the morning several times during the week. And I have been buzzing ever since then. And it's actually something that it feels like I've caught this wave of momentum this week. Actually, I haven't told you this, Lee Marie, but you and I had a conversation earlier this week, and I was feeling like, I feel like my body wants a detox. I've been feeling a detox. I've been feeling a cleanse. And she told me, "Oh, have you heard about the detox that Bashar recommends?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." Well, the next day I was on YouTube and clicked on a Bashar video, and he talked about the specific detox that Lee Marie had mentioned. And
Mhm.
my little spidey sense went up like ding, 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 ding. Pay attention here. And so after that, I started looking into it. And when I looked at several of the detoxes, it was a hell yes resonance. And so since then, I've ordered it. I've actually been planning for it. And I'm actually really, I've never been so excited to do a detox as I am now. And I feel like my body already is saying yes. Yes, it feels like I'm already in the detox and feeling so much energy, so much vibration, so much resonance. And that is something to pay attention to.
Mhm.
And that's what I always talk about in my groups and when I'm working with someone. Pay attention for you. What resonates for you? Because it's about you. It's not about anyone else. What resonates for them? What resonates for you? And following that. And that will also change over time. It goes for everything. It goes for the way you eat, what you drink, the activities that you do, the work that you do, everything. Pay attention. When I do this, does my energy feel expansive or do I feel contraction? After I eat a certain food, do I feel more energy or do I feel actually a depletion? And again, that's going to be different for everyone. So someone might say, "Oh, I'm on the carnivore diet and I feel amazing." But for you, that may be way too heavy for you and you wouldn't feel good on it. But trying things for yourself, listening, it's all about inner alignment. And I've been having this conversation has been popping up lately with a lot of different people, inner alignment, that when you really get in that inner alignment and you're feeling that centered, and it really is about heaven on earth. That we can live heaven on earth. We don't have to wait to die to go to heaven because we're already source. So we can live heaven on earth here now. And remembering that we are source. And the more that you live in that alignment and really knowing that inside, embodying that, the more you will see those synchronicities, the easier life becomes. And that's what it's really about. When we're in that inner alignment, all the things, like the material things, the things we want to manifest, those even become secondary because it's it's like they just naturally come to you to where you don't even think about it. It's not like an efforting like, oh, I'm trying to manifest this. Things just start to happen. The synchronicities become so comical and fun. Did that really happen? Well, of course it did. And it's normal, it's natural. This is the way that we're meant to live. That instant manifestation, that instant yes of the universe saying yes, because of course, your source. You are the creator. Every one of you is already a master and you're just remembering it. That's why you're here, is because you're a master and you're remembering your power, you're remembering your truth, you're remembering that you're already love. And again, the permission slips, we don't have to do all these things, but if something comes up and you're like, yes, I want to do that. And that's how I feel with this detox. Could I shift? I love when Bashar talks about the realities and shifting realities, and that really a spontaneous healing is you're shifting into a version of you that's already, quote, healed. Or I love it when he talks about the addiction. He talks about someone that gets over smoking addiction and they actually shift into a version of them that never smoked. And so that's why they're able to shift so fast. It's like they never had the addiction. And I've witnessed it happen. At Dr. Something I really love about Dr. Joe also is there's so many testimonials of people curing themselves from cancer, from I was just talking to a friend last night. She had this foot thing that was like super painful, couldn't even walk for a while. And she was at a Dr. Joe event. And after one of the meditations, she got up and she was like, oh, well, oh, my foot doesn't hurt anymore. And it was just instant, never came back. It was gone. And and that's why I love, because it gets us in that knowing, oh, this is possible. And it doesn't have to be through a Dr. Joe meditation. It could be spontaneous through so many different things. It's really about you getting in alignment, you getting in that vibrational resonance of you being the creator, and that there are so many versions out there of you. There are so many possibilities, and you really are tuning into the version of you that you choose, the possibility that you want. And we're doing that over and over and over. It it really is it is amazing. And again, when you start to live it over and over and over and embody it, and it's not even a miracle, it's normal. It's normal. It's the way that we're meant to live. It's the way that we're meant to be. Let me see if I'm just checking my notes. There anything else? Um, yeah, and a lot of this is like just again following the yes, following that resonance. And I was at I live in South Florida. I moved to Boca this year. I lived in Miami Beach and I moved an hour north to Boca. And the momentum that created, that saying yes, that taking a step. So many things have happened in this last half of the year. I moved here in July. I moved here, so I live in a new place. I got a new car. I got a new job. And the job that came in, and I do some contract work for accounting. One contract ended, and I had a very light thought, oh, I wonder what's next. I didn't do anything else. Someone sent me an email the next week, someone that I had worked for before, and we had just kept in touch. And he said, "Hey, I'm at this new company. It's a startup. I could really use some extra help. Are you open in September and October?" And I said, "Actually, yes, I am. This is perfect timing." And so we talked. It's it's so everything worked out. The timing, I ended up not going through an agency, so it works out so much better for me. All of these things, and it was a total synchronicity. I just had the thought, I wonder what's next, and let it go. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything else. And life really can be that easy. It keeps going and going and going. And and the car, Pepper's on here. So he and Mariana was looking for new cars and she decided to get a Tesla. Well, then John got a Tesla and they were talking about it and how exciting it is. So then I got a Tesla and our friend Mark had got a Tesla and we all live here in Boca. So we're like this little Tesla family. And following that inspiration, I love my Tesla. It feels like this extension of me. I've named it Mr. Bentley. I talk to my car. I've never loved a car so much. It feels like it is alive, like it has its own personality. Um, and I'll touch on the mastermind a little bit more. So this is something also an inspiration that I followed a couple of years ago. After the first of the year, I had an inspiration as part of the meetup group that I was doing. I thought, oh, I'm going to do a three-part series. So I did a three-part series. We did some intention setting, we did some hypnosis, we did some other talks. And then at the end, a friend of mine that had done it, she said, that was really good. You should start a longer paid program with this of a mastermind. It's like, yeah, that's a really good idea. So I did. I started with an 8-week mastermind after that. Then I extended it to 12 weeks, and we just kept going and going. I've been just rolling that forward. I have some people that have been in since the beginning. So it's really become like a 2-year mastermind for them. And Lee Marie has been a part of that. The thing is about a mastermind or any group, it's really the community that it creates. And we can do these things on our own, but when we have other like-minded people, it amplifies the energy. It expands it even more. And it's part of that intentional living because I can tell you in the beginning, I remember having a conversation with someone a long time ago. I saw some program online. It was actually about attracting your soulmate, and it had a fee with it. And I'd never done a program where I had to, pay for it. And I told my friend about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great." I'm like, "Well, but why would I do that? Because I can do it on my own." And she just laughed. because she had done many things um, that I hadn't done. And it is true. You can, and I was in that space of intellectualizing, oh, I can learn, I can do this, and you can. But I was only intellectualizing it up here. There is such a difference between just reading or listening to something and actually embodying it, actually living it. And that's part of the mastermind where we have these tunings that we do 3 times a week. We have a group session that we do once a week because it keeps you in that intention of what you're creating, of how you're thinking. And this year, this has been a dream of mine for a while. I started with a shorter masterminds, and what I've wanted to do is a year-long mastermind and also have in-person events along with it. And so this is the year. I'm starting it late this month, so we're going to start January 28th and go through the year. And we'll have 3 in-person events. And it is I can tell you for myself, following following this passion, following this inspiration has been, it's gonna make me tear up, has been so expansive for me. Like I have seen my own growth and I've seen the growth of the participants in it and the community we've formed. It's just it's so special having those relationships, having those touch points throughout your week, that reminder of keep going. You are source, you are love, you are creating. And even the contrasty things that come up, that it's okay. You're being supported, you're being loved, that there's so much love for you. And that's it's very near and dear to my heart. And so anyone that is interested, please contact me. I'd love to talk to you more about it. And I can't wait. It's been so much fun for me to do this. Um, it's been my highest excitement.
Yeah, I'll send some information out. I think I can through the meetup and Zoom for the participants. So I'll send something out if you're interested. It was also in the notice going forward, how to contact them.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I was in, so I did the first one that you did, like it was like 3 days or something for your mastermind, and that was awesome. And then I did the first 8-week one. And I think I might have signed up for the second one. No, I found out I couldn't at the time with my life, I couldn't be consistent with the meetings. And I really felt I wasn't getting anything out of it. So I'm just gonna put that out there that it is a commitment for people. It's very worthwhile. I'm looking forward to this year because for me, I quit my job and moved to Florida. I know, little different story, but it was a long time coming, basically. And but I have some time, I'm taking some time off for me. And this first time in my life I've ever been able to do that. And so I'm looking forward to being able to commit to something like that. So it's really really good. And just so people know. And I'll bring back whatever I learned here to the meetup group too. So that's
Yeah. And it is. It's such a great way to share. And I feel like when I'm learning something and then I talk about it with others, it expands my
mhm.
learning so much. So it's a great opportunity, yes, for you, Lee Marie, of to share that because whatever you're learning, however you're expanding, you are bringing that to so many people. I do a lot of different things. Lately, my thing that I'm doing this year is with Saima. And I was having a conversation at one of the events, and this woman was sharing an experience with me, and she said, "Thank you," because I can feel the Shakti of that event so much by sharing it with you. And it's true. It's we experience it once, but then also by sharing it and remembering it, we bring back that Shakti, we bring back that energy, and we're reliving it and we're sharing it. It's like it's that ripple effect.
True. True. And then also the best I was saying, I heard, and I think it's very true, the best way to learn is to teach. So if you can
Yes,
teach, really reinforcing what's inside of you too. So
yeah, yeah,
that's mhm.
yeah. And so many fun synchronicities. Noreen lives here in Boca, and actually, we met on the Caribbean cruise. I didn't live in Boca at that time, but we connected on that cruise. And so it's been fun to be in Boca and be able to see each other, get to do things. I met John Pepper on a cruise. I met Jill. Actually, I think we met through another program, Jill, but actually, Jill and I, well, Jill still lives in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Mhm.
but we both lived in Charlotte at the same time, but connected later. I met Christina on the Hawaii cruise. That was so much fun. And I've met Angela on another online group that we're in, the SoFlo Co-Crow. So that's another group, to check out. We do some in-person and online events. And Christina, I've seen you're also doing some events too. Super fun. Yeah. So it just you never know. It is like that ripple effect. And you meet a person and you have an interaction. And it may just be that interaction, but it may be something down the road where your paths cross again. And there's, boom, this expansion, this fire that goes off. It's just, we're all connected. We're all connected in
Yeah.
so many ways.
And so that's where I just moved from, Charlotte too. So there you
Yes.
go.
Yes. And it's funny. Yeah, we had the Charlotte connection, but we didn't actually know each other when I
No,
lived
no.
there.
So,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
really, it's really fun. Cool. Does anyone have any questions or anything you want to add?
I wanted to ask you though, for those people, some
Yeah.
people might be very new to the law of attraction and or Abraham Hicks or any of these teachings which overlap and connect, like you said. They let us. What was maybe one of the first things that really was pivotal for you in the beginning? Maybe it was meditation or one teaching really hit you, like one recording from Abraham or something on that line that really
Hmm.
just stuck with you.
That's a
So,
really good question. I feel like there's been so many along the way. Um, just learning about Abraham in general. I don't remember a specific recording, but I had a tarot card reading with this woman. Actually, she was in San Antonio, Texas, where Christina is. And I was asking her about this relationship that I was in, and she said, "Have you heard of Abraham Hicks?" And at the time, I was like, "No." And she said, "Just go to YouTube, type in Abraham Hicks relationships." And I just listened over and over and over. I couldn't get enough. So there wasn't one specific one, but it was just in general the Abraham teachings. Um, there have been lots of other things along the way. I did the hypnosis training. I did Marissa Peer's rapid transformational therapy and learning about, meditation and the mind. That was a pivotal thing. And really since then there have been so many different things, talking about permission slips. I I still, I feel like I've been shifting more and more into being than seeking, but there's still there's like Abraham says, there's always
Mhm.
more, and there is that permission slip. I've done, Nick Brew's program. Some of you may have heard of Nick Brew. He has a group called The Collective that I was in. That was a big part of my journey. Then I found Gina Mallison through another group I was in. I had met Costa and Armand on my very first Abraham Hicks cruise. And then so when Costa started channeling Viola, I came to Miami Beach to some of their retreats. That was part of me moving to Miami. I met so many other people through that. I met Gina Mallison, I met Sheila Williams, I met different people through that. I did programs with Gina. Um, and then she got me into programs with Liz Hayes, who I had also met on Abraham Hicks cruises. And it's been one after another of,
Mm.
you know, talking to someone. And again, it's paying attention. Ooh, oh, my senses are going up when I hear certain things. So, oh, I'm going to pay attention to those things and being discerning about it. I would say in the beginning, especially during that phase of like 2018 where I was like, okay, I've got all this time. I was like voraciously reading and listening to things. And now I'm much more discerning about what I'm going to listen to and dive into. But it is still that inner alignment and that knowing of okay, this is really resonating with me. I'm going to pay attention. And it may be something that you you listen to for a week or a day and there's like one gold nugget and then you're done. Or it may be something set off on a path where it takes you to more and more and more. I would say now I'm been doing events with Saima, and that was a total synchronicity. Someone I met in Miami when I first moved here, he had lived at her ashram in Colorado and told me about her, so kind of planted that seed. But at that time, I was like, didn't go anywhere. And then later, I was in another group where they started talking about Saima and some of the people that were doing her energy work. And I remembered this, so the dots were connecting. So I remembered, oh, I remember hearing about Saima. Let me go look. And she actually is here in South Florida in Naples. So the next time she did an event, I signed up. And it was kind of like Abraham Hicks. It was like that total resonance of I feel something with this. So it just, has led to another and following it until that energy either the energy will keep going or the energy will lead you to something else, or you might just be like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm done with that. So there's thank you for asking, but there have been a lot of just different things along the way.
Yeah, and it really seems like you took a jump, so to speak. You just,
Yes, I feel like it's been this trajectory, da, 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 and then the last couple of years, and I would say also since I moved to Miami Beach, and moving to Miami Beach was a complete just leap. I
yeah,
did not plan on leaving Charlotte, North Carolina. I actually really liked it
me
there.
neither.
And I said, I'm not moving. I'm not because I moved by myself when I went there and I said, I'm not doing this again. But but I always wanted to live at the beach. And so
Mm.
something led me. I was working for this guy and he had a company in Fort Pierce, Florida. And so I stayed on the beach when I went there to work. And it started that little spark. And then I went to Costa Narmans. I was like, ooh, what? I'm moving to Miami Beach. This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Like I like it in Charlotte. Like financially, this makes no sense. Why would I move here? But I followed it because I just knew there was something in the energy. There was something in it for me. And I knew also when Miami Beach, this isn't my forever place. I'm ready. I want to stay in South Florida, but there's the next thing. And that jump from Charlotte to Miami Beach, there is, of course, you don't have to move and uproot yourself, but when you do, and you're in a completely different place or completely different energy, it's like you open up the energy to make these quantum leaps. And I
Mhm.
feel like so that was 2022. Since then, I've just been leaping and leaping and leaping. And I remember before, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I still had that mindset. I need to get somewhere. And once
Mm.
I get there, then I'll be done. And now I'm like, well, that's just silly because it's you're never done. Like Abraham says, you're never done. There's always more. There's always more expansion. And it's not that there's more to learn or fix yourself. It is expansion. It's vibration. It's energy. And the more your energy expands, the more your vibration goes up, there's just more available to you, and there's no limit to it. You are limitless. You are so expansive. Yeah. So I know I no longer have that mindset. Oh, I've got to figure this out so then I'll be done with this. No, not going to be done. Never. Never, never, never. And
It's a,
oh, go ahead.
it's in the journey.
Yes. Yes. And it's my passion. It's what I love. You can't go backwards. You can't unknow what you know. You can't go back to a life of, kind of with the blinders on, and I'm just gonna do this kind of like Groundhog's Day. I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna do this, and then go to sleep and do the same thing over and over and over. You know too much. I mean, you
Mhm.
can still go to work and do things, but you know way too much. You know way too much. You know you're creating, and you know you can create what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good. I don't know if you have something you want to hear from people, or if anybody has questions. Do you have like a topic or something that you want to put out there for people, if they want to talk about something, or ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, I would just open up to any question and also just, what's a fun synchronicity you've noticed? Because here's the other thing too, and this is part of the magic of being in groups like this, is that you get to talk about these things because some of your friends or people if you say these things, they might think you're crazy. You didn't create that. But you know that you did. And then talking to other people like this that totally get it.
Mhm.
And so that's also why it's so nice to have these groups. And again, it's talking about it is that Shakti, it's that energy, it expands it. And other people saying, yes, good for you, cheering you on. Look what you created. Look how powerful you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm.
that's what drew me to this and some other groups, was the fellowship, that you can talk about this
Hmm.
kind of thing, or what happened, or what's working with other people, because a lot of people just don't get it. And I had a friend, an old friend, and she just texted me out of the blue. And then so I asked her about, because I knew she was into some of this years ago, and she went off. She was like, that's magic. It doesn't work. I don't believe in it. And I was like, okay, I just was asking. I don't know
Yeah,
what
like
to-
you need the secret book, like Harry Potter. You've got to have the secret book and the wand, otherwise it's not going to work. But no, it
No,
works
yeah,
for everyone.
right. And it's really it starts with your thoughts, I think. And so that's
Hmm.
where I started being aware of my thoughts, and how they impacted the things around me.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Christina, I saw something you posted the other day, but I don't remember specifically what it was, but I know it was some synchronicity.
Yes, I if I can jump in and share, I would love to. So two things that I want to share about. So you said something a minute ago about going from just thinking about it to really embodying it, and that's something that has clicked for me recently. So over the summer I started reading, well, I've always heard of Seth. I heard of Seth through Abraham. Somebody else asked about Seth. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to read a Seth book. So I've done an audiobook because the books are really huge. So I started reading one of the Seth books over the summer, and one of the first processes that he mentions or they mention is finding your own personal feeling tone. Like, what is the feeling that is you specifically, the energy that is only you, tapping into that, right? So I tried it, and the first time it was super blissful and wonderful. The second time I did it, I got this visual of this big, huge boulder. Like my inner being was this big, huge, strong, hard rock. And I'm like, a rock? That is so crazy. But then I came to understand that that is the knowing of my inner being, of my source, fully confident, knowing, oh, I'm gonna get emotional, knowing everything is good, anything that I want to be or do or have, I can. So taking that thought of the strength, the confidence, the sureness, just confidence, I said, I'm gonna start to put out what I want, but I'm gonna really feel it and feel it with confidence. And I did. And so one day I really embodied this feeling of, oh, money just flows to me easily from all these sources. I saw streams coming to me, all these things. And then a couple of days later, I kid you not, I was going through some mail. I had a stack of mail that I hadn't gotten through, and I found two checks that were reimbursements to me that I didn't know that I was going to be getting. I was like, yes, cruise money.
Yeah.
So that was one. And then the other day, I was leaving the office and was feeling really good. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to do when I get back to the house? Blah, blah, blah. I decided not to work late, left at 5 o'clock. It's kind of rush hour traffic. I was anticipating that, oh, it is what it is, right? Everybody wants to get home at the same time as me. I'll just find something entertaining to listen to in the car. So as I was leaving the office, I pull out of the parking lot and onto the main street, and there was no cars coming. So I didn't even have to stop. I just went. Then I had a green light and another green light and another green light and another green light, like all the way to the house. And by about halfway through, I was probably already down like four or five lights. I started laughing to myself because I really felt giddy. Like, look at what is happening to me. This is so fun. And I was like, okay. Then I got to the next light and I said, let me see if it continues. And it did. Another light and another light. And I just couldn't stop. Like, I felt so giddy. And it was I mean, it was a minor thing. It was just stoplights, right? But it just felt so good to know that I was aligned. Things were lined up for me to easily, make it through. And so I just wanted to say that it doesn't always have to be these huge manifestations. Sometimes it's these little things that are just blissful and relish them. That's all.
Yes. Yes. And yes, and that's a really good point. Relish it, appreciate it. Like don't just blow it off of like,
Hmm.
yes, this is alignment. This is my vibration creating. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those, like the green lights. They're like to me winks from the universe. That's it,
Hmm.
little winks. You're on the right path. You're doing it. You got this, basically. So
Yeah.
That was
little things.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting me share. And thank you, Amanda, for continuing to do these things. I always love when you post stuff. I enjoy it.
Oh,
So thank
thank
you.
you.
It's fun.
Thank you. Are you going on the next cruise? The March cruise?
Yes,
Yay.
I am. And I'm so excited. I've already started thinking about it. I'm so excited to go through the Panama Canal, I think it is. I want to see it. I can't wait. It's going to be fascinating. So I love it. I love looking out of the ship and seeing the just infinite feeling, right? Water and the blue. I love it. I
Hmm.
can't get enough of it. I'm like a crazy person on the cruise, like staring over the balcony for an hour straight.
Yeah. It is
So I'm super
amazing.
excited.
Is
Yeah.
anybody else going on the Panama cruise for Abraham Hicks?
I think, and Noreen, are you going? She may not be able to unmute herself right now. I think Noreen is going. Um, I know Pepper has been on cruises, but I don't think he's going on this one. But
Not
yeah,
this
if
one.
yeah. If you've ever thought about an Abraham cruise, I would highly, highly recommend it. And I I've had people ask me, why do you keep going on these? I kind of lost count. I think this will be 14. But it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. There are usually 4 workshops on the cruise, and it depends on the cruise itinerary, but usually your days at sea are the day you have a workshop. So it's not like you're missing anything in a port. And about half the people on the ship are there for the Abraham Hicks workshop. So you're just surrounded by all of these high vibe people, just people having fun, and the energy is contagious. So it feels like the other people on the ship too, that they're happy and fun because of course it's a law of attraction. So their inner being has brought them there for a reason. And the staff of the ship, they're always so happy when we're there because we're happy, and people are like, what kind of workshop are you guys doing? Because everyone's so happy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a blast. It's so much fun. So I highly, highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. I did the last Alaska cruise a few years ago.
Oh
And
yeah.
what one of the things, and I think they do it for all this, so they had excursions, and they when you do, you sign up with Abraham Hicks, you can. And then everybody on your little excursion is Abraham Hicks. So
Yes.
that was
Mm-hmm.
really fun too, because you get to continue the discussion basically with
Mm-hmm.
the people, and it was really, really, really fun. It's
Yeah.
and
And
Alaska.
what's also wonderful is when you have the dinners. That's how I met
Yes.
Oh
Amanda.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep. I met Noreen at a dinner. I think I met Christina on one of our excursions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But those are fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Can I share something real quick? I was just
Yeah.
reading Andrea's comment about the finances.
Oh,
And I happened to, so I went to one of the workshops in San Antonio a couple weeks ago, and I got this card deck.
Oh
The
yeah.
the money. Okay. So I just want to recommend the card deck for Andrea, but also the card that I pulled today was I will praise success whenever I see it. And so a little, I don't know, maybe it's a little tidbit from Abraham for you, Andrea. Just little bits at a time, praise what worked, and let go of the rest.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat. And I love that. I would also add to that, notice notice the ways you're already wealthy. And wealth can be so many different
Mm.
things. You can tune into the wealth and the beauty of nature. Oh, there's a wealth of fluffy clouds. There's a wealth of birds. There's a wealth of, grains of sand on the beach. Whatever it is, you're already wealthy, and tuning into that. I have another fun story. I was on a call with a client, and she was in Sedona. So we were talking about wealth, and we were talking about, the wealth of Sedona because it's so beautiful. Everywhere you look, there's these red rocks, and there's a wealth of hiking there. There's a wealth of beauty of the vortexes there, everything. And so we were just really vibing on this. And I get off the phone, I go to my computer, and I had recently met this guy I was dating, and he was originally from Tucson. So we talked about we were going to meet up for Thanksgiving when we were both there. I was going to be in Phoenix, he was going to be in Tucson. And I got off the phone. I went to my computer, and he had sent me a message. Hey, for your birthday, why don't we go to Sedona for a few days while we're in Arizona? I was like, yes, I love Sedona. And I'd just gone off the phone with this client, just raving about Sedona. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you attracted that.
Yes, yes, yes. And just, yeah, just reminding yourself of that, praising yourself. And self-praise is such a big thing of just, giving yourself a pat on the back, you're doing well.
Mhm.
The self-talk that we have, the things that you say to yourself are the most important things. Really watching that self-chatter that you have going on. Because a lot of times, it's there in the background and we don't notice it, but pay attention. Talk to yourself like you're your best friend. Or I worked with someone once and she said, "Do you have," and at the time I had a little dog, and she was like, "Talk to yourself like you talk to your little dog. Like, hey, sweetie, how you doing, sweetie?" Like, talk to yourself that way. You deserve it. You deserve to be, nurtured and cherished. And the more you do it, the more you'll see it reflected to you in so many different ways. Oh, so I do want to so Lee Marie, so I started this in Meetup. And so in Meetup, Lee Marie has taken over the administration of that. So you'll post that in the Meetup group, right? So if they want to like find out when you're doing more discussion groups, and a
Yes.
lot of you are probably already a part of that Meetup group.
Yeah, I'll be putting the meetings in face and in here in Meetup. So if you want to share, you guys want to share it on Facebook or something, that's fine. You can share it on there if I'm missing anybody. And then I'm thinking of doing the next meeting, although it's flexible, February 20th. I think it's a Friday. And then also I want to ask people if you want to share your story. I would love to have, just people from the community, like, tell, how you got to where you are right now, like with the law of attraction. And so that would be just great. And so just let me know, you can message me.
And I would say it's a fun thing to do because until sometimes someone asks you, like, "Oh, I hadn't really thought of it." But then again, you start to see how those dots connect and oh, this synchronicity led to that and that led to that. So it can be, a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can only connect the dots looking backwards a lot of times. And so it's really fun to share your story. And then I like for, not that been able to share my story, but I know when things like I've written resumes and I have to put down everything I did, and I realized, wow, I did a lot, or I learned a lot. I really came a long way, like when I've actually had to reflect on something. So it's a good exercise too for people to see maybe really how they've grown. So love to hear from people. Yeah.
And I'm typing my email. I just put it in the chat,
Okay.
amanda@amandatowne.com, and it's Towne. So if you have any questions about the mastermind group or anything else, I do also do one-on-one coaching with people. Feel free to reach out. Be awesome. Thank you so much for hosting
Yeah.
this, Lee Marie.
Oh
And
yeah.
and
Thank
and
you.
to take the torch and to keep it going because I think it is a great thing for people to come together, share their stories, hear from other people that are also into the same kind of thing.
Yes, as I get settled in, I want to do some local things. So, I'm in Central Florida, basically, do some local things in person also as well. So online and in person. So really trying to build a community.
All right. All right. Have an awesome Friday and weekend.